Hello family, welcome back. It's been a while and hope you all are doing great. Today, we have a new update on the increased salary threshold to sponsor dependents in the UK. In a dramatic turn of events, UK families are taking the government to the High Court over the newly introduced income visa requirement. This change has sparked outrage and concern among thousands of families. But who is behind this legal challenge, and what are the implications for those affected? So whether you are a healthcare professional, student, graduate, health and care worker or those in the healthcare field, then this video is definitely for you. Hence, make sure you watch till the end of the video, so you do not miss out on those juicy details. For our indefatigable fans and those new to the family, you now have the option to join to become a member of the family. For others, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, let's get into it. Section 1, Background on the new income requirement. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the UK, the government has announced a significant increase in the minimum income requirement for family visas. This change, effective from April 2024, has profound implications for thousands of families. Since July 2012, the minimum income required for British citizens and settled residents to bring their partner to the UK was set at £18,600. This threshold was intended to ensure that families could support themselves, without relying on public funds. On December 4, 2023, the Home Secretary announced a significant increase to this threshold, more than doubling it to £38,700. This change is being implemented in phases, starting with an increase to £29,000 in April 2024, then to £34,500, and finally reaching £38,700 by early 2025. The Statement of Changes to the Immigration Rules, HC 590, published on March 14, 2024, formalized these adjustments. The government argues that the previous threshold no longer reflects the level of income required to ensure families are self-sufficient and do not need to rely on public funds. Reasons behind the increase. The explanatory memorandum to the Statement of Changes provides further insight into the reasons behind this increase. It states that the previous threshold had not been adjusted for over a decade and no longer met the financial needs of families in the UK. The new minimum income requirement is based on earnings and benefit levels to ensure that migrants are more likely to make a net positive contribution to public finances. This change supports the government's broader ambition for the UK to be a high-wage, high-productivity, high-skill economy. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has emphasized that this policy is part of a broader strategy to reduce net migration, which remains at record highs. The government believes that by raising the income threshold, they can better control immigration and ensure that those who come to the UK can fully integrate and contribute to society. Impact on families. However, critics argue that this policy disproportionately affects lower earners, women, and those living outside the southeast of England. Research shows that 50% of British citizens would not be able to sponsor a foreign spouse under the new threshold, rising to 70% if the requirement increases to £38,700. Women and young people, who are often lower earners, are particularly hard hit by this policy. This change threatens to separate families and disrupt lives across the country. Government's justification and future plans. The government maintains that the new income requirement is necessary to ensure that families are self-sufficient and do not rely on public funds. They argue that this policy will help create a more sustainable immigration system and support the UK's economic goals. The phased implementation of the income requirement increases is designed to provide families with more predictability and time to adjust. The final threshold of £38,700 is set to come into force in early 2025, aligning with the income level needed for skilled worker visas. The increase in the minimum income requirement for family visas marks a significant shift in UK immigration policy. As we move forward, understanding the reasons behind this change and its impact on families is essential. Stay tuned as we continue to explore the implications and provide guidance on navigating this new landscape. Let's pause for a minute. Are you currently enjoying the video? If so, then please take a minute to like, share and subscribe to the channel. Also turn on the notification button, so that you are the first to be notified when the next video drops. In Chroniclesofola, we talk about life, living in the UK, immigration-related information and lots more. So please join the family and share the channel with your friends. Now let's get back to it. Section 2, Who has taken the UK government to court? The fight against the new income requirement for family visas has brought together a coalition of advocacy groups and affected families, united in their quest for justice. But who are these key players, and what drives their determination to challenge the UK government in court? Leading the charge is the Joint Council for the Welfare of Immigrants, JCWI, a prominent organization known for its strategic litigation and public campaigning against harsh and unfair immigration policies. Below is a statement from JCWI. Our mission is to advocate for a fair and humane immigration system. The new income requirement is a clear example of a policy that disproportionately affects vulnerable families, and we are committed to challenging it in court. Joining JCWI is the Migrants' Rights Network, MRN, a charity that stands in solidarity with all migrants in their fight for rights and justice. MRN co-curates campaigns using anti-oppression practices to create transformational change. Here's a statement from MRN. We believe that everyone has the right to live a dignified life, free from oppression and discrimination. The new income requirement undermines this principle, and we are determined to fight it alongside affected families. At the heart of this legal challenge are the families directly impacted by the new income requirement. Their stories highlight the human cost of this policy. Family member 1, we simply cannot meet the new income threshold. This policy is tearing our family apart, and we feel we have no choice but to fight back. Family member 2, we've been working hard to save enough to sponsor my partner, but the sudden increase in the income requirement has shattered our dreams of being together in the UK. Single parent, as a single parent, meeting the new income threshold is nearly impossible. This policy is not just unfair, it's cruel and discriminatory. Legal grounds for the challenge. The legal challenge against the new income requirement is based on several grounds, including violations of human rights and discrimination. Let's hear the view of a legal expert. The plaintiffs argue that the policy breaches the right to family life under Article 8 of the European Convention on Human Rights. They also contend that it discriminates against women, ethnic minorities, and young people, violating the Equality Act 2010. The case will also address whether the policy breaches the Home Secretary's obligations under Article 3 of the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, as it leads to children being separated from their parents abroad. The role of Reunite Families UK. Reunite Families UK, RFUK, is another key player in this legal battle. This non-profit organization helps families with UK spouse visas and raises awareness about the impacts of immigration rules. RFUK representative, our community was shocked by the sudden changes, especially during the ongoing cost of living crisis. We believe the new income requirement is unjust, and are committed to challenging it in court. RFUK has been instrumental in mobilizing public support and organizing protests to raise awareness about the issue. The coalition of advocacy groups and affected families challenging the new income requirement represents a powerful force for change. Their determination to fight for justice and equality underscores the importance of this legal battle. Stay tuned as we continue to follow this landmark case and provide updates on its progress. Together, we can make a difference. Section 3. Who is affected by the new requirement? The new income requirement for family visas has far-reaching implications, affecting a wide range of people across the UK. But who exactly is impacted by this policy change, and what does it mean for their lives? Overview of affected groups. The new income requirement affects British citizens and settled residents who wish to bring their non-UK partners and children to live with them. Previously set at £18,600, the threshold has now been increased to £29,000, with plans to further increase it to £38,700 by early 2025. Research from the Migration Observatory shows that 50% of British citizens would not be able to sponsor a foreign spouse under the new threshold, rising to 70% if the requirement increases to £38,700. Disproportionate impact on women and young people. Women and young people, who are often lower earners, are particularly hard hit by this policy. Women, in particular, are more likely to work part-time or in lower paid sectors, making it difficult to meet the new income threshold. Let's listen to interviews with women and young people affected by the new requirement. Young woman, as a recent graduate, I'm still building my career and don't earn enough to meet the new threshold. This policy means I can't bring my partner to the UK, and it's devastating for us. Single mother, I'm a single mother working part-time to balance my job and childcare. The new income requirement is impossible for me to meet, and it means my child can't be with their father. Regional disparities. The new income requirement also exacerbates regional disparities. Wages are generally lower outside the southeast of England, making it even harder for families in these regions to meet the threshold. Interviews with families from different regions of the UK. Family member from Northern England. In our region, wages are much lower than in London or the southeast. This policy is unfairly biased against families like ours who live outside the capital. The policy disproportionately affects those living in regions with lower average incomes, further entrenching regional inequalities. Impact on children and family life. The new income requirement has a profound impact on children and family life. Many parents are unable to bring their children to the UK, leading to heartbreaking separations. Parent: my child is living abroad with their grandparents because I can't meet the income requirement to bring them here. It's incredibly painful to be separated from my child. This policy threatens to separate families and disrupt lives across the country, with long-term emotional and psychological impacts on children and parents alike. Legal and social implications. The new income requirement also raises significant legal and social implications. Advocacy groups argue that the policy violates the right to family life under Article 8 of the European Convention on Human Rights. Legal expert: the new income requirement is likely to face legal challenges, on the grounds that it disproportionately affects certain groups, and violates human rights. The courts will need to consider whether the policy is justified and proportionate. Public opposition to the policy is growing, with protests and demonstrations highlighting the social injustice of separating families based on income. The new income requirement for family visas has far-reaching and devastating effects on families across the UK. It disproportionately impacts women, young people, and those living outside the southeast, threatening to separate families and disrupt lives. Section 4. The legal challenge. The legal challenge against the new income requirement for family visas is a pivotal moment in the fight for fairness and equality in UK immigration policy. This case, set to be heard in the High Court, could reshape the landscape of family reunification in the UK. Overview of the legal challenge. The plaintiffs in this case argue that the new income requirement violates human rights, particularly the right to family life, under Article 8 of the European Convention on Human Rights. They contend that the policy is discriminatory and disproportionately affects women, ethnic minorities, and low-income families. The legal challenge is based on several grounds, including violations of Articles 8, 12, and 14 of the European Convention on Human Rights. Article 8 protects the right to respect for private and family life, Article 12 guarantees the right to marry and form a family, and Article 14 prohibits discrimination. Historical context and precedents. This is not the first time the minimum income requirement has been challenged in court. In 2017, the Supreme Court upheld the £18,600 threshold in the case of R.M.M. Lebanon v. SSHD, finding it lawful despite acknowledging the significant hardship it caused to many families. The Supreme Court's decision was based on the principle that immigration control is a matter of high policy, and the constitutional responsibility of the Secretary of State. The court emphasized the need to balance individual rights with the interests of the community. Let's hear from some legal experts discussing the implications of the 2017 ruling. Legal expert: the 2017 ruling set a high bar for challenging the minimum income requirement. The court found that the policy was a model of economic rationality, and justified by the need to prevent migrants from becoming a burden on the state. Current legal arguments and strategy. The current legal challenge builds on the arguments from the 2017 case, but focuses on the disproportionate impact of the new, higher income threshold. The plaintiffs argue that the increase to £29,000, and eventually £38,700, exacerbates the discriminatory effects of the policy. The plaintiffs contend that the new income requirement disproportionately affects women, who are more likely to work part-time, or in lower-paid sectors, and ethnic minorities, who often face systemic barriers to higher-paying jobs. Potential outcomes and implications. The High Court's decision could have far-reaching implications. If the court rules in favor of the plaintiffs, the government may be forced to reconsider, or amend the income requirement policy. This could lead to a more equitable immigration system that better respects the right to family life. More opinions are shared. Legal expert: a favorable ruling could mean a more balanced approach to immigration policy, ensuring that families are not unfairly separated due to financial constraints. It could also prompt a broader review of how economic thresholds are set and justified. Family member: we hope the court sees the human impact of this policy, and rules in our favor. Our family's future depends on it. Broader social and political context. The legal challenge is taking place against a backdrop of broader social and political debates about immigration. Public opposition to the new income requirement is growing, with protests and demonstrations highlighting the social injustice of separating families based on income. Social media has played a crucial role in raising awareness and rallying support for the legal challenge. Hashtags like #FamiliesBelongTogether and #FairImmigration have trended, amplifying the voices of those affected. The legal challenge against the new income requirement is a pivotal moment in the fight for a fairer, more compassionate immigration system. The outcome of this case will shape the future of family reunification in the UK, and set a precedent for how economic considerations are balanced with human rights. Section 5. When is the case to be heard? The High Court is scheduled to hear the landmark case against the new income requirement for family visas in September 2024. This timing is critical, as it comes just months after the new policy took effect, impacting thousands of families across the UK. Importance of the timing. The timing of this case is crucial. The new income requirement came into effect in April 2024, raising the threshold from £18,600 to £29,000, with plans to further increase it to £38,700 by early 2025. The High Court hearing in September 2024 provides an opportunity to challenge the policy before the final increase is implemented. Let's hear more details from legal experts. Legal expert: the timing of the case is significant because it allows the court to assess the immediate impact of the new income requirement on families. If the court rules in favor of the plaintiffs, it could prevent further harm by halting the planned increases. Advocacy group representative: we are working against the clock to gather evidence and build a strong case. The September hearing is our chance to make a compelling argument for why this policy needs to be reconsidered. Preparation for the court case. Families and advocacy groups are working tirelessly to prepare for the court case. This involves gathering evidence, collecting testimonies, and building a robust legal argument to support their claims. Family member: we've been gathering all the necessary documents, including financial records, correspondence, and personal testimonies. It's a daunting task, but we are determined to fight for our right to be together. Lawyers are playing a crucial role in this process, providing legal advice, drafting submissions, and representing families in court. Their expertise is essential in navigating the complexities of immigration law and human rights. Gathering evidence and testimonies. Personal testimonies are a powerful component of the legal challenge. Families affected by the new income requirement are sharing their stories to highlight the human impact of the policy. Let's hear from a single mother discussing her struggles to meet the new income threshold. Single mother: as a single mother working part-time, meeting the new income threshold is nearly impossible. This policy is tearing my family apart, and I want the court to understand the real-life consequences. Young couple: we've been saving and working hard to meet the income requirement, but the sudden increase has shattered our dreams. We hope our story will help the court see the need for a fairer policy. Legal strategy and arguments. The legal strategy involves presenting a compelling case that the new income requirement violates human rights and is discriminatory. Lawyers are focusing on several key arguments, including the disproportionate impact on women, ethnic minorities, and low-income families. The plaintiffs argue that the policy breaches the right to family life under Article 8 of the European Convention on Human Rights, as well as Articles 12 and 14, which guarantee the right to marry and found a family and prohibit discrimination. Public support and advocacy. Public support for the legal challenge is growing, with advocacy groups organizing protests and demonstrations to raise awareness about the issue. Social media campaigns are also playing a crucial role in rallying support and amplifying the voices of affected families. Advocacy group representative: we are encouraged by the outpouring of support from the public. It's clear that many people believe in the importance of keeping families together and are willing to stand up against this unjust policy. As the High Court prepares to hear this landmark case in September 2024, the outcome will have far-reaching implications for thousands of families across the UK. The determination and resilience of those affected, combined with the support of advocacy groups and the public, underscore the importance of this legal battle. Section 6. Likely outcomes and implications. The outcome of the High Court case challenging the new income requirement for family visas could have profound and far-reaching implications. Let's explore the potential outcomes and what they could mean for families across the UK. There are several possible outcomes of this case. The court could rule in favor of the plaintiffs, finding that the new income requirement violates human rights and is discriminatory. Alternatively, the court could uphold the policy, maintaining the current income thresholds. Feedback from legal experts. Legal expert 1. If the court rules in favor of the plaintiffs, it could lead to a significant shift in immigration policy. The government may be forced to reconsider or amend the income requirement, potentially lowering the threshold or introducing more flexible criteria. Legal expert 2. On the other hand, if the court upholds the policy, it would reinforce the government's stance on immigration control and economic self-sufficiency. This could set a precedence for future policies that prioritize financial thresholds over family reunification. Implications for affected families. For the families directly affected by the new income requirement, the court's decision will have immediate and significant implications. A favorable ruling could mean the difference between being together and being separated by borders. Feedback from family members. Family member 1, we hope the court sees the human impact of this policy and rules in our favor. Our family's future depends on it. Family member 2, a favorable ruling would mean we can finally bring our loved ones to the UK and start building our lives together. It's a chance for us to be a family again. A ruling in favor of the plaintiffs could benefit thousands of families across the UK, allowing them to reunite and live together without the burden of meeting an unattainable income threshold. Broader social and economic implications. Beyond the immediate impact on families, the court's decision could have broader social and economic implications. A more equitable immigration system could lead to greater social cohesion and integration, as families are able to live together and contribute to their communities. Allowing families to reunite without stringent income requirements can enhance social cohesion and stability. It fosters a sense of belonging and community, which is essential for a harmonious society. From an economic perspective, a more inclusive immigration policy could lead to increased productivity and economic growth. Families that are together are more likely to thrive and contribute positively to the economy. Legal and policy precedents. The outcome of this case could also set important legal and policy precedents. A ruling against the new income requirement could prompt a broader review of how economic thresholds are set and justified in immigration policy. A favorable ruling could establish a precedent for future challenges to immigration policies that are seen as discriminatory or unjust. It could lead to a more balanced approach that considers both economic factors and human rights. This case could also influence how other countries approach similar policies, potentially leading to more humane and equitable immigration systems worldwide. Public reaction and future advocacy. Public reaction to the court's decision will be a crucial factor in shaping future advocacy efforts. Regardless of the outcome, advocacy groups and affected families are likely to continue their fight for a fairer immigration system. That's all for today's video. We hope you now have more information around these topics that have been discussed. We encourage you to take that bold step towards your next career adventure. The UK awaits your contribution to its vibrant and diverse workforce. Not so fast though. Did you like the video? Do you have friends and family that need to know about these details to make their move to the UK a success? Then make sure you share. Many of you only watch my videos, a whooping 80% of you, but haven't subscribed. Why not? Please subscribe today, and turn on the notification button so that you be the first to be notified when I drop more of this content. For those that want to support the channel, my PayPal link is in the description of the video. If you need a paid inquiry, make a donation to the channel, and send your details to my email, chroniclesofola@gmail.com. Shalom.